Is there a secret to creating logos with consistently good quality in a short period of time? I gave myself a challenge to create a logo every day during December, and while I posted my 2 weeks worth of logos consistently during December, I decided to additionally challenge myself and create the last 7 logos in the shortest amount of time possible. So in this video, I will be showing you the last 7 logos I made for the Advent of Logos 2024. Why did I do Advent of Logos again in 2024? Well, I failed spectacularly in 2023, but still, I am glad that I went through that process of creating those logos so that I can see how much I've improved in a year. I didn't know that I will be making logos in 2024 again, but I decided on a whim to challenge myself because I know it's just a good exercise and because I didn't have a project at the time. I'll be honest though, designing a logo in a day is not great. The logo, that is. It does not turn out great. But even the bad designs of this year are, I think, much better than the designs last year. In my opinion, of course. Ideally, only the research and ideation for a logo would take probably like a week to do. So, for a quick turnover in logo designing during the last month, this is what my process looked like. Step 1. Read the brief and take out as much information as possible about the brand, what the brand is about, their industry. Should the logo look luxurious or should it be more modern and fresh? Who is the brand talking to? Who is their target audience? Is it a younger or an older demographic? All in all, this could take you probably like a couple of minutes. Step 2. I tried to find real-life examples of such brands that could become or could be possible competitors if I was doing like a real brand, and see what they're doing wrong or right and how much of that aligns with my brief. Try not to spend too much time here, probably like 30 minutes to an hour. And then go to step 3. I look at projects on Behance. Why do I look at Behance for inspiration? Well, it's mainly because the designers, they upload their best work on there. It could be a passion project or it could be a real project, I don't know, but it is their best work. So from that, I can draw the most inspiration and create something that someone else hasn't created yet. I know this could take long and you could spend a lot of time just browsing projects, but try to minimize this time again to 30 minutes to an hour, because looking at too many pieces could actually overwhelm you and it will confuse you more than help with the inspiration. Try to purposefully look at the projects. Mark in your head, in your mind, or down on paper what made you look at the project and what is the best thing that you can take out either from the project or from the presentation that is posted on Behance. Step 4. Based on the brand name, on the brand story, or something that the brand wants to represent, I try to think of some words that could like represent it. I try not to spend too much time here again, and just like any other exercise, this process becomes easier with time, but I try to think of some general concepts that might represent the brand. However, I try to sift out the concepts that are too obvious, that are possibly like too close to the name and its definition, because someone else has probably already done that concept. So I will need a better or catchier concept. Step 5. Only after I have a good enough concept down, I finally open Illustrator and try it out in Vector. I iterate on the icon until it looks decent for a logo. In some cases, however, I could start with the typography first. Write the name of the brand in different fonts that fit the brief and see if that sparks any other ideas. When narrowing down the concepts for a logo, there are some things I consider and I want to share them with you. So first of all, is it a super obvious symbol or the concept? Like I mentioned before, is it too obvious? Is it just for example, a coffee bean that represents a coffee shop or a coffee mug or something like this, we need to make it a little bit more interesting because everything else has probably been done before. Second thing to consider is it simple enough that it can be easily replicated with simple shapes, either circles, squares, lines, and next thing is, does it match the target audience? Is it too playful when it shouldn't be? Or does it look luxurious when it should be relatable? Some of these things come from the typefaces that you choose, so be sure to choose the correct typefaces. Another thing I keep at the back of my mind is, does the brand actually need an icon, or can it be represented only with the word mark? If there is a possibility to play with the letters to create a certain shape that will work best with the brief, maybe this is the actual solution that's the best in this case. It is very important to check out if the icon you have now actually exists for another brand, particularly if it resembles a bigger brand that many people will know. So I usually do a reverse image search, and sometimes, because some of the logos I make are maybe too simple, I will check with reverse image search again if there are too many similar shapes for logos that have already been done. And just like that, based on these steps and considerations for a concept, I created 4 logos in a day. And I need to add as a disclaimer, just like any other iterative process and exercise, it does become easier once you've done it for a number of times. This is why it was possible for me to create the 4 logos in a day. It's because I had worked for over 2 weeks to follow the same process and refine it and become better at it. During this challenge, what I found out about myself is I like to think of the whole visual identity now instead of only the logo, something that I didn't consider back in 2023. Another thing is, I prefer to make logos much more simplified this year. A circle here, a square there, something still related to the general concept, but in much more simple shapes. While before, I still knew that logos should be simple, I thought they should also be more illustrative. I have also gained more experience knowing what makes a good logo. I used tools showcasing real-life logos, such as the Logo Modernism book that I have, and the website Logo Book. And feel free to also use that website Logo Book because it's very helpful and it might give you some ideas for, let's say, the industry that you're creating a logo for. I want to thank all of you who have been watching these videos about logo designs. They were so fun to make, and the logos, they were also fun to make. I will try to come back to these logos at the end of 2025 to see how much I've improved and how much I've grown since then. In the description, you will find a link to a PDF with all of the briefs I used during these 3 weeks for the advent of logos, plus a few additional ones. And feel free to use them for a portfolio piece that you might include in your portfolio, or any other project that you might think it would be interesting. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I put a lot of time and effort into it, so if you could please like it, share it with someone who might also enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. It was so nice to have you, and I will see you next time. Bye!